So here's one for you. Now, I did a video recently. I can't remember which one it was because I've done a whole bunch within the past few days. It was the Ethan Hawke one. And I said the Ethan Hawke book was the first signed book that I'd bought. I was actually wrong on that because when looking through my bookshelves, I discovered The World According to Danny Dyer Life Lessons from the East End, which I bought back in 2015, at least sort of 5 or 6 years before I bought the Ethan Hawke one. This is a great book. It's not so much a memoir, although there are memoir feels to it. These are just pretty much not rants, but just stories from Danny Dyer's brain, which is a fascinating. I mean, look at chapter 10. Oh, the ghosts. Of course, there are hundreds of melts knocking about. They've been around since anybody can remember, and there are thousands of stories to back up their exit. So he has a chat about ghosts. In another chapter, he is talking about crime. In another chapter, he's talking about the sun and NASA. So it's like a memory dump from Danny Dyer's brain, which is fascinating. And strangely enough, maybe not strangely enough, but if you're familiar with Danny Dyer, then when you read this book, you can actually hear it as if he's reading it. He has got a very distinctive, not just accent, but the way he talks, and he writes like he talks, and that's very, very easy to read. I think the guy's great. I've been Twitter friends with him for like 10 years. I don't think he uses Twitter now. I think he's mostly on Instagram, but I look at my X account now and it still says Danny Dyer is following you, which is pretty cool. And so we swapped a few DMs a few years ago. Before he joined TV's EastEnders, he did a lot of independent films, and I was a big fan and supporter of those. And so he and I sort of became Twitter buddies for a little while, and never met him. And so this book was one that I bought from the website that was selling one. And do we want to know what Danny Dyer's signature looks like? We do, don't we? We want to know what his signature looks like. I want to know where his signature is, to be fair. There we go. That's the one. That is the signature of the wonderful Danny Dyer. You can still get this book. It's out in paperback. You can still buy the hardback on Waterstones, I believe, which is where... I don't think I bought this one from there. I can't remember where I bought this actual copy from. But it's a cracking book. I'm going to have a look and see if there's an audio version of it, especially if Danny's doing it. It'll be an absolute hysterical listen. But I do highly recommend this book if you haven't got it. And I'm very, very happy that I've got a signed edition of it. So it makes me smile.